Under 70,000 spectators, and they've come out in full force for this one. A fantastic atmosphere here in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Minnesota Vikings. Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. First carry now for Alexander Madison. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. Good job there keeping him to a short gain. Of course, he's coming off a really terrific performance, reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
And I know people get caught up in, well, if you're the reigning Defensive Player of the Week, you must have made a bunch of spectacular plays. Like you mixed in a few of those, but most of the plays are just like we saw there. Keep them to short gains, make the fundamental tackle.
Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 34. He's going through a rough patch throwing the football. 4 interceptions in that loss last week. Opening drive starts the game with a pick here.
But we did spend time with the head coach and the offensive coordinator and asked them, what did you see on tape? What did you see on film? And they talked about mechanics, making sure that he gets his feet underneath him, doesn't overstride, does a better job taking care of the football. And I think they're as shocked as anyone to see the first one of the game here in this one.
Yeah, he needs to start heeding their advice. Now Rivers going to give it off to Gordon. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. That'll go as a loss of 5. And that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14.
Let's go. Let's bring it.
Rivers going to turn and give this one to his running back, Gordon. And this play going to be stopped in its tracks at the 32, and obviously well short of the first down. It's a 6-yard gain, and it leaves them looking at a 4th down. And this one is right down Broadway. And the Bucs take a 3-0 lead. They were probably hoping to get him a little bit closer for a shorter field goal, but he was able to get it done from deep.
Nice little tester for him to begin things, huh? I think he was open for a little bit more of a chip shot. Instead, they made him stretch it out a little bit, but he's got to feel great now that he put it through the pipes.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so it shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away. But they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves.
Now a man open down the middle of the field. They get 14 back, but it leads now to a 3rd down. Cousins on 3rd and 2. And he's able to find Diggs. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. Another strong gain on the last 2 plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards. So from Buccaneer territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. He's going to air one out. Man, it's caught. at the 6-yard line. Cousins finding Diggs on a big one, 42 yards. A cool little accomplishment for him passing the football. 25,000 yards. He just surpassed that for his career.
When he was a little guy in the backyard.
Looking for Diggs, and it's intercepted. Snags it for the pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Back, 380! 380! Coming to you, coming to you. Come on!
They'll start on the ground. This is Gordon on first down. Well, that gives them a little room, but not much. A gain of 2 to the 5. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
380!
Now Gordon. He'll have a first down and more past the 20. One of the reasons that this team is on this win streak, big runs like that.
When you see runs like that broken off, you know this is a team that's confident running the football. A big reason why this streak has occurred, they've come together, had a plan, and stuck to it. And when you get big-time runs like that, it makes it easier to stay with it, doesn't it?
And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. One thing's for sure, this defense has to figure out how to stop the ground game. He's eating them up here in the first quarter.
It looks like they have to go to different forces, aren't they? The conventional things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, not get loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just regular tackling.
They run it here with Gordon. A minimal gain as we tick down inside of a minute remaining in the opening quarter.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
On third down, this is Melvin Gordon. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. Tough sledding. They lose a yard there on third. Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. And it's complete. They're going to get the first. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. Second quarter now, and it's Buccaneer football as they go to work on a first and goal. Offense back out now for first and goal after the successful fake. They'll try and run for it with Henry. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Derrick Henry, his second touchdown on the season as the Buccaneers tack on to their lead. Bryant's extra point up and good. And the lead grows to 10-0. And after the touchdown, here's Bryant now to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively, obviously. 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit, like, hey, didn't we practice in that colored jersey all week? Not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with him. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
So now then, the big play has him all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. Here's Madison running on first down. Give him maybe a yard, quite the opposite from the previous big gainer.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Before the game, they were running the route tree about as efficiently and effectively as we could have possibly imagined, but sometimes the passes just go awry.
Yeah, let's face it, when they're running the route tree in pregame, you don't have to...
And for the third time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22, and they're going to take over right there at the 22-yard line.
He's crashing. Load it. Load it.
They'll start the drive with a run by Gordon. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. First down, Tampa Bay there, a gain of 13.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
This is Gordon. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now, we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Gordon. And that one goes for about 6 as he's taken down just shy of the 45. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
190. Hey, come on out here. Come get some. Come get some. Come out here. Come get some. He don't want it. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. Hey, go orange.
On 3rd and 1, here's Rivers. Jones has it. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. Disaster there, resulting in a loss of 7 on 3rd down. And he was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. And that ball's going to angle out at the 3-yard line. A beauty.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. A nice burst there as they'll get about 7 that time on the first down run. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. On 2nd down, this is Madison. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. They call that a loss of 6 yards. And it's 3rd down now. Facing the prospect of a punt from their own end zone, they need some cushion. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down. From the gun, here's Cousins. And he's going to go down in the end zone. Cousins taken down for the safety. And you know, the man who sat in my chair the last few years, he has a theory. These plays, these safeties, they're so rare. Maybe they should be worth more than 2, maybe 4 points.
I think he's got a great point. I really do, Brandon. But I would go ahead and up it to 6. I'm a former defender. Oh. To me, that's like scoring a touchdown.
Easy now. I'll go 4. I don't know about 6.
Come on, come on. Come up to 6.
A lot of points.
Check safety, check safety. Orange 5-4.
Now Gordon on 1st down. And not much there. Maybe a yard up to the 24. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. Coming up at halftime, we remind you once again that we're going to check in with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL as we reach now, hard to believe, the halfway point of the season. Time flying.
It certainly is. Time to get the sweaters out, my man.
He's able to rattle off 6 on the carry, and that'll get him to 3rd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
The Bucs on 3rd down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 4. Back to the ground, this time with Jones. And he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. This offense converted once on 4th down earlier. Now they're out there again to try once more.
Check, check. Cluster. Watch twitch. Hey, Delta. Topper. Watch twitch. Hey, I'm going to go load it. Good.
They're indeed going for it. It's Rivers. And this is incomplete. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And the Vikings, they have the football now in excellent field position. They'll run with Madison. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. Now the Bucs going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. Working out of the gun, Cousins. Complete. Smith has it. And he'll be out of bounds as he gets this down to about the 21 or 22.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives him a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Third and short yardage. Cousins under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. The Bucs going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Now the Vikings will send out the special teams crew here for a field goal try. This one from 46 yards out. And this one is right down the middle. And that lead is back down to 9 now. So they recovered the fumble, but ultimately could not take advantage of the short field.
Definitely a lost opportunity right there. I mean, they were in prime position to put 6 on the board. Ended up settling for 3.
And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. It was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Rivers to throw it. This is Miller, complete. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A good pickup there, a 22.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Here's Jones. He's got the first down here inside the 30. Now a signal and a timeout call as it comes with 9 seconds to go in this first half of play. First down throw here for Rivers. He completes this into the hands of Miller. And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. So we come upon halftime with 9 points separating these two teams. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, the Bucs with a lead, and they'll get the football first as the second half is underway. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ballgame.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give them 14 on that one and a first down.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them.
Recon, 132 fighter. He's coming. Double up. He's coming. Here we go.
They go back to Gordon here on first down. And he puts his head down and gets up to the 42 for a gain of about 6.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4.
Watch QB drop. Watch QB drop.
Another choke for Gordon. He's been busy this afternoon. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down. They'll try and run for it with Jones. He's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up 4th. They'll run it with Jones. And an alley to run. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 14 yards there and a Buccaneer first down. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. From the shotgun, a give to Jones. And very little there. He might have gotten a yard. Yeah, I think he got a yard to the 41.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
On 2nd and 9, Rivers. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's 3rd down.
Oh, that's got to frustrate him a little bit because they nearly got to him there, and it would have been the first sack of the game. Instead, they're able to influence the release, and they did force the incomplete pass.
On 3rd down, Gordon. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. The punt team on now as Pinion sends this one away. And that had far too much air under it. It's out of the back of the end zone. And the football will come out to the 20-yard line. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker. Try
and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Cousins throwing the out route incomplete. That's Kennedy. There he goes left side. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. His 4th touchdown on the year as they have now chopped this lead down to 3. So they connected on a short pass on 3rd and 1 to pick up the first, opting not to run it. Well, there was a lot of run after the catch all the way into the end zone.
On these short yardage plays, you often get man coverage in the secondary. Not every time, but oftentimes you do. So if you decide to go ahead and throw the ball, once they get away, especially on one like this, short pass, but now he just takes off and goes. How much rack did he end up with at the end of that one? Run after catch all the way into the end zone.
The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. Certainly want to avoid what they had to do last possession, and that was punt the football, because this game's starting to tighten up.
In a basketball sense, you think about taking a little bit of the air out of the ball, right? Maybe milk some clock, limit the possessions. In this case, they might want to do the same thing, but control the game offensively. Put together some first downs, put together a drive, and keep it away from them.
This is Gordon as they go to him again. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. Tackle made that time by Anthony Barr.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
On 3rd down, Rivers. And nowhere to get away. Rivers is dropped. The sack by big number 98, Linval Joseph. Here's Bradley Pinion now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. And this punt goes out of bounds, and it'll be marked inside the 40. And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. Going to begin the drive here with Madison. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's been a good one so far, just a 2-point game here as we get set for quarter number 4. On 2nd and 15 now. Cousins toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. Stephon Diggs, his intended receiver. And that takes us from 2nd to 3rd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And this one complete to Smith. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it. So they wound up passing on a long field goal try, but that works out for them really well. That one's down inside the 5-yard line.
And it's risky because your punter, if he puts it in the end zone, the net result not worth it, but there, I think worth it. Now a 20th carry, number 20 here for Melvin Gordon. Well, that gives him a little room, but not much. A gain of 2 to the 5. The tackle is made by Micah Hyde. They keep it on the ground. Again, Gordon. He'll have a 1st down and more past the 20. There goes Melvin Gordon. He's at the 30. 10. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Melvin Gordon, 95 yards as the Buccaneers tack on to their lead. So what was already a game to remember becomes even more so as that touchdown run, a lengthy one, takes him over 200 yards now for the game.
And I love the fact that to get over 200, it took a pretty good sprint, didn't it? I mean, a lot of times you get 1 or 2 yards and oh, he's over 200 yards. But that really put an exclamation point on the game he's having. Fantastic. A lot of fun to watch.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to something else.
And maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something.
And down he goes, a Buccaneer sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. And they convert on 3rd with a gain of 22. Play action now. Cousins going up top. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by Justin Reed. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line. Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used a calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, they're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it. And that's where he is right now. He's just locked in a really bad way.
10 yards there and a Buccaneer 1st down.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
No gain on the play there, second down. Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on second down.
Only go load it. Load it.
Now Rivers going to give it off to Gordon. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with third and still 7 yards to go.
And this is an absolutely big third down that's been set up here, partner, and there's no other way to put it. The defense has to get a stop here if they have any hopes of winning this game.
Has to. You said big third down. I'd put the word big in capital letters here.
6-6, pull it high. White, 89.
On third down, Rivers. He's going to fire one deep left sideline. Now look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. A critical error there in a tight game of the fourth.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the fourth quarter, turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the fourth quarter with a lead, no matter at what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And this will result in him losing yardage back to the 3. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
Partner, you've got about 20 coaches on your payroll, but there's 60,000 of them in the stands. I don't think any of them like that play.
And the later we go, it's starting to sound like 100,000 in here. And the Buccaneer defense for the second straight play, flexing its muscle by forcing a loss. Call it a loss of 6 on the play. And that's going to bring up an interesting third and goal. Here's Cousins. To the goal line, but it's incomplete. Figuring they're going for it on fourth down. Remember, though, they do have all 3 timeouts, so even if they don't get it, all is not lost.
Yeah, normally in this situation, when you're talking about having to go for it, everything is in this play. But as you noted, with those 3 timeouts, they actually have a little bit of a safety net.
So on fourth down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the left hash, a chip shot here. And his kick is good. And that'll get the lead down to 5. So an interesting call there to take the 3. I mean, I guess they're thinking that their hands were tied, but, you know, fourth quarter, that field goal might not help them that much in the end.
Yeah, eventually they're going to need the touchdown. The thinking must have been they didn't feel confident about picking it up there, hoping maybe on defense they can get better field position, get a turnover, get a better play, and then they'll have a chance to attack the end zone.
The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. And this game not quite in hand yet. We'll likely see all 3 timeouts defensively and then reassess where we are. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they get it with under a minute to go now in the football game. A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Rivers here to throw. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. He's got a man, complete. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in quarter number 4. The big play has them all the way out near midfield for a 1st and 10. Sliding out of the pocket. Got Gordon open, completes it. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards. The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game.
Set 180. Block the team. Hey, hey, hey. Get the ball.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. So 5 yards there is one of the big guys up front moved.
And in a 4-3 front, you've got the 2 defensive tackles right near the football. I know there's a lot of movement around there, but they're always taught to have one eye on the football. Apparently, that didn't happen.
Following the penalty, here's Gordon. And he's across for the touchdown. And in the final minute, that should just about seal it.
And that touchdown should make you feel...
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. Taken in by the tight end, Doyle. And he gets in. But no one was expecting a fake there, but they add 2 more onto their lead. And after the touchdown, here's Bryant now to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him in contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him in contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
I
don't know about that. Super tough.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28.
Hey, we got Mike, number 53. Mike, 53. Blue Dan, blue Dan.
Well, Charles, it's great to win at home in the NFL. When you win on the road, it's a little extra special, isn't it?
It is because, let's face it, in most cases, you're not expected to go on the road and win in the National Football League. It just doesn't usually compute. So to get out there, get that done, and then head back to your city with one in the victory column, oh, that's a fantastic feeling.
So for the Bucs, they remain one of the hottest teams out there as the win moves them to 6-1. And they'll get another road test next week as they have to go to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they'll fall to 5-3 with a loss. And they'll take this loss into the bye as they'll be back in action